Alright guys, we're about to go catch some bait. At least that's the objective today. And here we go. It's never very graceful getting into this boat, but it works. But anyway, alright, so let's go get some bait. Oh goodness. First thing I do is make sure I get my kill switch in. Oh, come on now, give me all this trouble. And earplugs in. We're basically ready to go. Catching bait, tried to catch some skipjack, but we're just kind of doing brim instead. Couldn't get any skipjack below the dam, so we're just setting adrift, letting the wind carrying us back into the creek, just drifting off these little weed beds that you can see here. We're getting some, that's not a bad bluegill, female there, and they're starting to bed, and I'm just using red worms here. These are actually European night crawlers, but which is a smaller type of red worm. And so we can just, just let the wind carry you. We'll just cast and just let this, trying to keep quiet in shallows. But that's a good bait there. You can get about 3, 4, 5 pieces there like that. Putting them back here in the cooler. In Alabama, you can fish with brim just as long as it's not, as long as you don't have over your limit. Your limit's 50 in Alabama, so you just have to work with that. So, and so there you have it. Hey guys, Damon at Black Ori Lures again. As you can see, we went on the bait trip and sort of paltry. All we caught it was a hard day of fishing, real work. But what we're going to do is take these few little brim bluegill. I only caught about 4 or 5, and take them out of this sort of slurry, icy slurry here. We're just going to put them here in some plastic storage bags. You're almost ashamed to do the video because you went fishing all day and all you caught was 5 brim. Those are pretty sunfish there. Explains why orange is a color that works so well in the waters in terms of lures and stuff. And so there's that. And I think I'll maybe put 3 brim in each bag. So And I couldn't even catch them from the bank, couldn't hardly find them, couldn't hardly hook into them. It was just a real fair day, not a good day of fishing. And I guess as an update on Steve Douglas's fishing gauge, I checked it before I went fishing, and it was really high. It indicated that it would not be a good day of fishing, and sure enough, that's all we caught the whole day fishing. That's all the bait we caught. So it was not a good day. And so, you know, an old rifle commander once told me, don't ever trust initial reports, but still, that's what we caught for bait, and we're going to use those for, we're going to cut these up in small, maybe, quarter-sized, 50-cent piece-sized pieces, just for channel catfish, just for eating-sized channel cats. But anyway, there you have it. There's that whole bait trip. I tried to catch skipjack, couldn't get anything biting below the dam. There were several fishermen out there. Everybody was struggling, so I decided, well, screw it. I'm just going to brought me some red worms and just started brim fishing. That's all I caught. So if people want to know if Steve Douglas's thing works, and initially it seems to indicate fairly well what's going on. But anyway, so you got to keep fishing, got to get back out there, and hopefully the channels are moving up toward the banks and off the rock walls and starting to settle in and spawn and whatever. We can catch them off the rocks, and that's what we're planning on doing here throughout the rest of the month of May. And so this is one of the reasons why I prefer prepared baits for channel catfish, because for the time-starved fisherman, it's hard to get out here and catch bait. That's a whole day that I spent trying to catch bait, whereas I could have just used the manufactured bait and tried to catch catfish. And so with that, there's a little bit of advice or whatever for me. Now typically it's good to put some, if you're going to add salt to that little slurry there, I would buy pickling salt. And go to the Wally World or your grocery store where they have the canning or pickling section and buy the salt from there and use that. I wouldn't want to use the the salt with the iodine in it for like this. I get the curing salt, because essentially what you are doing is a kind of curing, and I put that salt in there instead. But anyway, I was brought up brim fishing, and so brim's a pretty decent bait. I've got some glug in there that you saw with the chum slick stuff, and that might be a good way to go there. But anyway, get you a good cooler like this, fill it up with ice, put a little water in it, put the fish down in there so they get real cold real fast, and no matter what kind of bait you're doing, put some ice in it, put some salt in it as well, and that could help. But if you don't want to have to fool around with bait, then yeah, go ahead and go with a manufactured bait, as you've been hearing me talk about off and on, and then you'll be good to go. So we're going to get these guys here in the freezer, and see you guys on the next fishing trip.